Hello, in this video I will show you how to do mosaic overlay crochet. This is a fun, very creative technique. There are two types of mosaic crochet, overlay and inset. Today we'll be doing overlay. So this was worked in alternating rows to create a picture. Today we'll be doing a simple pattern that I have in my Etsy shop. This pattern comes with a chart, photographs for reference, and written instructions. So if you're interested, you can grab this from my Etsy shop. To do this type of crochet, you'll need two colors of yarn. Today I'm using beige and purple. You'll need your hook and a pair of scissors. So grab your supplies and let's get crafting. Alright, so first I will explain how to read the chart. So there is a key up here. So all the blank spaces are single crochets in the back loop. All the X's are drop down double crochets. And the sides show what color you should be using and that it is your beginning and last stitch. So these X's drop down. Your first stitch and your last stitch are worked through both loops. Your doubles and your singles will be worked through either the front loop of the last row or in the back loop, which I will show you. So our first thing is our foundation row. So row 1 will be your foundation row, and we need to crochet a set of 25. So chain 25. Okay, so that's 25. And then you chain 3 more because you need to add the 2 first stitch, last stitch, and then you have 1 to go up. This is the only row you will go back across. So 1, 2, 3, then single crochet in the second loop from the hook. So you have 1, 2, second hook, single crochet, yarn, pull through, and then pull through both loops. And then you will do this 27 times. Try to keep your tension as equal as possible so that your work stays pretty even. Chain, pull it through, give it a little tug. So you should have 27. So let's see, 2, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, and 7. So your first row is now done. I like to use a sticky note to keep track of where I am. Makes it a little easier to see. So on row 2, we're switching to our what I call the pattern color, and they are all single crochets all the way across with our beginning and ending stitches. So your beginning stitch, you'll go through both loops, grab your yarn, try to leave enough of a tail because these will need to be secured when you're done. So now you have to chain and then go through both loops again and do a single crochet. From here, we do single crochets 25 times. So your single crochets are through the back loop only. So when you do the loop and then you do the next loop, you create these 2 loops and you go through the back one, do a single crochet and leave this front one open because you will need to use this later for your drop down double crochets. So that's 1, alright, so that should be 25. So that's 25. See how the front loop is available all the way across. Now for your last loop, you go through both loops again, do a single crochet, you run through both loops, then you chain, cut, pull your loop through, and give it a little tuck. Now you have 2 rows. The third row is all double crochet and in our framing color. I like to call it the framing color because it's like you kind of frame your pattern as you go. Okay, so your third row, your first stitch, go through both loops, leave yourself a small tail, pull your yarn through, do a chain, and single crochet through the same loop, and you have your first chain. Now you have 25 double crochets. So these are drop down double crochets because your double drops down to the previous row. So double, yarn over, drop down to this front loop that's available from your previous row of the same color, pull your yarn through and work your double. And you do this 25 times. Yarn over, drop down, and work a double. Now your last stitch worked the same way as last time. So you go through both loops, do a single crochet, chain, cut, pull it through, give it a little tuck. So now you have your third row done. So the mosaic overlay, you overlay your rows so you are able to cover the color you don't want to see in each row. So now we have row 4. And row 4 is in our pattern color, all single crochets. First and last stitch worked exactly the same every single time. Both loops, do a single, and a chain, then a single, and work your single crochets into the back loop only. Your last stitch worked the same every time. Both loops, single crochet, chain, cut, pull and tuck. That is row 4 down. Now on to row 5. As you can see, our pattern is going to begin. So row 5 is in the framing color. We have our 12 doubles, 1 single, and 12 more doubles. begin and end the same way, every single row. There we go. Both loops. Chain and single. Then we work 12 doubles. Yarn over, drop down. So to create your patterns, it's a mixture of drop down doubles and singles. So you have your 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 doubles. The next one is going to be a single. So I like to see where the stitch is, come up and find the right stitch. Do a single. You should have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12 stitches back here. Then you continue your doubles after your singles. So make sure you drop down into the right front loop. So this front loop stays empty and you move on to your next front loop, leaving this one open to show your pattern color through the framing color, and continue your doubles. Double, that should be 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and your last stitch, both loops, single crochet, chain, cut, and give it a little tug. Pardon. So we are going to continue making this diamond bigger as we go. So row 6 is in our pattern color, and where your single is now going to be a double. So you will have 12 singles, 1 double, and 12 more singles. Loops, weave a tail, chain, single, and now 12 single crochets through the back loop only. Okay, now you've reached where you did your single and where your first drop down double of your pattern will go. So yarn over, drop down to your open purple loop, or whichever color you choose. I'm just using purple, so. And do your double, and then continue. Only leave one open stitch back here with your back loop. See, it's open right there. continue with your back loop, single crochets. And your last loop, last stitch, worked in both loops, single, chain, cut, and give her a little tug. So now you have your first drop down of your diamond here. Row 7, you're doing 11 doubles, 3 singles, and 11 more doubles. So you're going to start making this bigger, so you're going to frame your next space. First loop worked as usual, both loops, leave a tail, chain, single, and then we're going to do our 11 drop down double crochets. Alright, so now you have your 3 back loop only single crochets. Back loop, single crochet, back loop, single, back loop, and then 11 double crochets. And your last stitch, both loops, single crochet, chain, cut, and secure. So now you see you have your 1, 2, 3 front loops open to make your diamond bigger on your next pattern color round. So, next round, row, not working in the round. 8, you have 11 singles, 3 doubles, and 11 singles. So first, stitch, grab your 2 loops, make sure you leave yourself a tail, chain, single, and now back loop only, single crochets. And your drop down doubles, and back to your back loop singles, making sure to leave your 3 open loops in the back. If you grab the wrong loop, you'll change the pattern, mess it up a little bit, because you'll find you have more stitches on one side than the other because you grab the wrong loop. So just always make sure to grab the correct loop when working a mosaic overlay crochet pattern. And we are to our last stitch. Both loops, single, chain, cut, and secure. So you can see how the chart and your pattern coincide. So charts are pretty easy to follow, but if you're more comfortable with written patterns, I did also include written pattern section to this pattern if you're using it. Okay, so now we are on our framing color. One less double, which is 10 on both sides, and our 5 singles. So 10 double, 5 single, 10 double. First stitch, worked through both loops. And single. We are going to do 10 doubles, so we're making one more space to make our diamond bigger. And once you get far enough in the pattern, you can really start seeing the pattern, especially really simple patterns. Then 5 singles, back loop only, 1, alright, now we are back to our doubles, making sure not to land in this space here. So this space is your single, you're going over to the next one and working your 10 doubles. Okay. Now we are at our last stitch, both loops. Make sure you're always going through both loops on that last stitch. Single, chain, cut, and secure your stitch. Now we are on row 10, which is in our pattern color So same numbers, 10 single, 5 doubles, and 10 more singles. First stitch, loops, chain, and single. Now, back loop single crochets, that's 10. Now 5 drop downs, so you have your 1, 3, 4, and 5, and back to your singles. Make sure you go in the right stitch, back loop only, and 10 more singles. And your last stitch, both loops, single crochet, chain, and cut. Give it a little tug, secure stitch. Okay, now we are on row 11. Row 11 increases one more on each side of your diamond for the pattern color, so we go down to 9 double crochets, then we have 7, so we had 5 in the first row, so now we're going to have 7 singles and 9 more doubles. Your first stitch worked as usual, both loops, chain, single, then 9 doubles. Now you have 7 singles, making sure to be in the back loop only. Okay, and now 9 doubles. Make sure not to grab this one, but the following front loop of the previous framing color row. Now you do your last stitch And your last stitch is through both loops, single, chain, cut, and secure. Row 12 is 9 singles, 7 doubles, and 9 more singles in your pattern color. So your first stitch, both loops, chain, single, single, then single 9 times, back loop only, now we're doing our 7 doubles to make our diamond wider. So there's the 1, singles, back loop only. And your last loop, both loops, single, chain, cut, and secure. The next row is row 13, 13. We have 8 doubles, 9 singles, and 8 doubles. Okay, you have 1 less on each side and 1 more for your pattern. So, first stitch, both loops, chain, single, and now your doubles. Always making sure just to grab that front loop. Now we have our singles starting here, only through the back loop. Your doubles, making sure not to grab that last one. Now your last loop. Last stitch is both loops, single, chain, cut, and secure. Row 14, 8 singles, 9 doubles, 8 singles. both loops, chain, single, and now your back loop, single crochets. Alright, now your double crochets. And back to singles, back loop only. Alright, your last stitch, both loops, single, chain, cut and secure. Okay, now row 15. Row 15 is 7 doubles, 11 singles, and 7 doubles. Alright, both loops, chain, single, and 7 doubles. Okay, so we're now at our singles. So let's see. Making sure to always go in that back loop only. Diamond. Back to our doubles. Make sure to go in the correct front loop. Last stitch, both loops, single, chain, cut and secure. Okay, row 16, we have 7 singles, 11 doubles, and 7 singles. So your pattern color, both loops, chain, single, back loop single crochets. And your 11 doubles. Now your back loop single crochets. And your last stitch, both loops, single, chain, cut, and secure. Has 6 doubles, 13 singles, and 6 doubles in our framing color. Both loops for your first stitch. Chain, single in the same loop, and onto the doubles. Okay, so one of the reasons I really call this the framing color is because you're really framing this color and preparing it for the next place that it's going to go. So when you have one less of the framing color, you have one more of the pattern color, and that really brings your pattern out. So that is why I use the term framing color and pattern color. And there we go. Now our doubles. Making sure to leave the space open for the pattern to come up again. And our last stitch through both loops, single and chain, cut and secure. The next row is in our pattern color, and we're gonna have 6 singles, 11 doubles, and 6 singles. First stitch, both loops, chain, single, and our back loop singles. And our doubles. And our back loop single crochets. All right, and our last stitch, both loops, single, chain, cut, and secure. Okay, now we are on row 19. We have 5 doubles, 15 singles, and 5 more doubles. So our first loop, first stitch goes through both loops. Chain, double, and do your 5 double crochets through the front loop of the previous pattern color. Back loop singles, and now your 5 double crochets, making sure not to grab that one next. And your last stitch, both loops, single, chain, cut, and secure. The next row is in our pattern color. Row 20, 5 singles, 15 doubles, and 5 more singles. So your first stitch, both loops, chain, single, and back loop singles. Now your 15 doubles. And back to your back loop single crochets. And your last stitch, both loops, single, chain, cut and secure. Next is row 21. So on your pattern, we're on row 21, so you can see that we're going to start going in. So we're going to create the top of our diamond from here. So each row we will be bringing in our pattern, our framing color, to bring our pattern in each time. So our framing color, we're going to do our 5 doubles, then our singles, and then the next time will be more doubles for the framing color rather than the pattern color. So let's do this. So our framing color, both loops, chain, single, and 5 doubles. Back loop singles, now our 5 doubles, making sure to close in your pattern. And your last stitch, both loops, single, chain, cut and secure. Now, row 22 is 6, 13, and 6. So both loops, chain, single, back loop, double 6 times. So we're going to start bringing in our pattern. So this double here will have a single over it. Back loops only. And now you're going to start bringing the pattern, closing in your diamond here. So skip this one, go to the next one. Doubles. And Now we are on our singles, back loop, singles, 2, and your last stitch, both loops, single, chain, cut and secure. Now we are on row 23. So you're gonna have your 6 doubles, 13 singles, and 6 doubles. Both loops, framing color, chain, single, and your doubles, front loops. Back loop singles, doubles, and your last stitch, both loops, single, chain, cut and secure. Now we are on to row 24. Now we have 7, 11, and 7. Okay, now we are going to do our pattern color and bring the diamond in one more on each side. Alright, both loops, chain, single, and back loop singles 7 times. Your 11 doubles, now your 11 doubles are done, and you do your back loop singles. And your last stitch, both loops, single, chain, cut and secure. Now you can see it's starting to come in. Okay, now we're on row 25. And you have your 7 doubles, 11 singles, 7 doubles in our framing color. So go through both loops, chain, and single. And here we go, doubles all the way, 7 times. $11 back loop singles, and double, framing that last pattern row. And your last stitch, both loops, single, chain, cut, and secure. Now we are on row 26, 8 singles on both sides and 9 doubles with our pattern color. So first stitch, both loops, chain, and double. Now 8 back loop singles. And 9 drop down doubles. And your last stitch, both loops, single, chain, cut, and secure. We are on row 27. It's 8, 9, and 8 again, framing up that last pattern row. So take your framing color, both loops, chain, single, 8 doubles, 9 singles, 8 doubles. And your last stitch, both loops, chain, single, chain, cut, and secure. Now row 28 will be 9, 7, 9 in our pattern color. 9 singles, 7 doubles, 9 singles. First stitch, both loops, chain, single, last stitch, both loops, chain, single chain, cut, and secure. Next, you're framing that last pattern row. So you have your 9 doubles, 7 singles, and your 9 doubles. So first stitch, both loops, framing color, chain, single, your last stitch, both loops, chain, single, cut, and secure. Row 30, we're bringing this in again. So we have 10 singles, 5 doubles, and 10 singles in our pattern color. Both loops, chain, single, both loops, single, chain, and cut. Row 31 is 10, 5, and 10 in our framing color. So let's do our first stitch. Chain, single, Your last stitch, both loops, single, chain, cut, and secure. Row 32 is 11, 3, 11. 11 single, 3 double, and 11 more singles in our pattern color. Your first stitch, both loops, chain, single, your last stitch, both loops, single, chain, cut, and secure. Next is 33, which is 11, 3, and 11 in our framing color. So we're going to frame up this last pattern row. So let's do our first stitch, both loops, chain, single, last stitch, both loops, single, chain, cut, and secure. And our next row, row 34, we are doing our last pattern double. So we are going to be doing 12 singles on both sides, and we are going to have our one center double for our pattern. So pattern color, first stitch, chain, single, and your last stitch, single, chain, cut, and secure. Next is row 35. Same thing, 12, 1, 12, only 12 doubles, 1 single, and 12 doubles to frame our pattern. So framing color, both loops, chain, single, your last stitch, both loops, single chain, cut and secure. Next is the pattern color, 25 single crochets all the way across. So our first stitch, both loops, chain, single, and back loop, single crochet all the way across. And your last stitch, go through both loops, single, chain, cut, and secure. Now our last row, row 37, is doubles all the way across. Drop down double crochets all the way across in our framing color. So your first stitch, both loops, chain, single, 25 drop down double crochets. And the last stitch, both loops, single, chain, cut, and secure. And you have your diamond. So you can see how the framing color closes in the pattern, and the pattern color creates your design. Alternating rows with singles and doubles creates the picture you want to create in your crochet. Now to secure this side, you need to tie all of these ends together. And I like to do the surgeon's knot. So you take your string, loop it through once, loop it through twice, and secure it. You can come back with another just standard single knot just to secure it even better, and just do this all the way down your side here with all your tails. Now for your tails, there's options. You can either leave it as is, making sure to secure your rows so that they don't come unraveled or just become too loose or messy. Or you can close it in with a double border There's also some technique called a twisted fringe. That's always fun looking, and you have this fringe look that's a little cleaner, or you know, just weave in your ends. It takes a little time, but if you don't want your ends hanging out, then it's a safe way to do it if you're not interested in doing the double border or fringe look. So just continue going down the whole side and securing all of your rows. So if you're anything like me, I like my work to be very neat, especially if I'm giving out a gift or, you know, going to a craft fair or something like that. So I don't really necessarily enjoy this back look. So in my next video, I will do this exact same pattern and show you two different ways that I have used to make this side neater, and also show how I deal with all these tails as I go, so it isn't as much work in the end of your project. So that's what I will go over the next video, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks. Have a good day.